Okay, so today Austin ISD released new COVID-19 protocols for our district. This is due to health authority changes as well as cases lowering within Austin Travis County and just an increase in our vaccination efforts that we've been doing. And so the different updates in our COVID protocols that we released were that end of the year activities such as promotional ceremonies and graduations are allowed outdoors. Wearing a mask will no longer be required for students that are engaging in outdoor activities when they are actively engaging in physical distancing and actively engaging in physical activities. If they cannot social distance or they are not actively engaging in physical activities, then they will need to wear a mask at that time. We have also lowered our quarantine period to 10 days. And then also tours and campus visitors for educational activities and instructional purposes with prior approval by the campuses will be allowed. But of course, our COVID-19 protocols such as social distancing and screening procedures will still be in place.
Great, thank you, Lexi. So now let's take some few questions from our media. We have with us KXAN, Alex.
Are you able to hear me?
Alex?
You're very low.
I'm going to go ahead and type my question. I'll let someone else take the first one.
I can hear you now.
Oh, good. Okay, hold on one moment here. Really what I want to know is about the timing of it all. Obviously, parents received their first notification of it this morning. Some said that they didn't even get the notification until their children were already dropped off from school. And so what I'd like to know is when the district had already decided they were going to implement this policy, when exactly did that occur? And was there any consideration in giving parents more time to sort of weigh the pros and cons of this and what they want to do for their own family before the actual plan went into place?
Absolutely. So the decision was made yesterday and we notified families immediately, which was this morning, about the changes. So some of the changes, I know one of the biggest concerns is the wearing of masks or not wearing masks outside during physical activity when students are physically distanced by 6 feet. And so for that to happen, parents have to sign a consent form and turn it into the campus. So at this time, that can't happen until we get those consent forms in. And so we made sure to notify families. We've put in those safeguards in place so that parents have time to process and make the best decision for their student.
But is it true that there are some campuses today that have already begun the new policy?
We are requiring the consent form to be on file first before that policy is implemented for any student. Another reason why we also wanted to release this as soon as possible is one of the newest guidelines is allowing for the end of the year activities for families. And so we are very close to the end of our school year. And so we wanted to make sure that there was enough time for planning and for people to know about those available end of the year activities for their families and for their students.
Okay, we have with us KLBJ, John. KLBJ.
I think he put his question in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So this was why the change up now. So there are a couple of reasons for the changes that we've done. So for one, we have continued to modify our protocols throughout this school year as new health authority guidance has been released. And also as we have reviewed the data from Austin Travis County and our local health authorities. So there is no difference there. We are still doing that. We hopefully will be in stage 2 within the next couple of weeks. Our cases are low within Austin Travis County, but also within Austin ISD. So as we have reviewed the data and also the recommendations that have come down, we have decided to make these changes.
Okay, thank you, John. Do we have anyone from Fox 7? Fox 7 News. Univision, Alicia?
Hi, good afternoon. My question is regarding maybe you already mentioned this, but just to verify, when a case of COVID positive again goes on campus, what are the procedures are you guys going to follow? Is there any changes now with the new protocols that you guys have now?
Absolutely. So we still will be continuing to do contact tracing every single time that we have a positive on a campus. So every campus has a COVID designee and an alternate that processes it with health services. And health services has public health professionals that work with that campus to process every case. We also consult with Austin Public Health when we need to. So we are still following our contact tracing processes. When you go to a 10-day quarantine, there are some caveats to that. And so you have to stick with a 14-day quarantine under two conditions. One, if masking was not consistently done the entire time, or two, if there's an individual within the group that is at a higher risk for serious illness that is not vaccinated. And so those are two additional questions and two additional areas that we will be reviewing during our contact tracing processes. We want to make sure that we do the safest quarantine for all involved.
Thank you.
Community impact, Olivia?
Hi, was there any discussion about masks indoors and whether there's any sort of timeline where you might consider relaxing that policy?
That's a really good question. So at this time, Austin ISD is not considering eliminating masks indoors. We are following CDC guidance on that. At this time, CDC strongly recommends individuals to wear masks, especially if they're indoors or around others that are not within their households, and when physical distancing can't always be present. And so until the CDC says that it is not safe for us to have masks indoors, Austin ISD will be staying with that protocol.
And is there sort of an ongoing schedule on which you'll continue to reassess these policies?
Absolutely. And so we assess them honestly on a daily basis. And so we are part of local health authority groups, as well as state and federal health authority groups. We process with other districts and kind of what health professionals are recommending and stating. And so again, as new guidance comes in, we are going to adjust our protocols.
Thank you. K-View, Marie Salazar?
Hi. Sorry, I had to clear my throat really quick. So you also mentioned how end of the year activities will be held indoors now. Can you go over more of the protocols about how people will be able to have these big groups, celebrating these graduates, walk the stage indoors? I know you guys haven't done that in a while. So I know it'd be a big change and obviously exciting for some of the graduates who are going to be able to walk the stage. But I just wanted to get more details about the protocols for those indoor graduations that are going to be larger groups of people in a room together.
Thank you. So our graduation ceremonies will all be taking place outdoors this year. There will be no graduation ceremonies taking place for seniors indoors. And so for outdoor ceremonies, we will still be following our health and safety protocols. Everybody will need to wear a mask. COVID screening and temperature checks will be happening for all individuals. And also there will be 6 feet of physical distancing between household members.
Got it. Sorry, I think I misheard. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. CBS, Jordan?
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. I wanted to see if you had any sort of contacts, Alexandria, on what in-person attendance looks like for Austin ISD and what happens if there isn't an adequate amount of students that are in person for in-person learning.
So I do not have that information available.
We can get that to you, Jordan.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm just aware that the school district is trying to get more students registered so that in-person classes can get going, or more students show up for in-person classes. Am I on the right path there?
I'm not able to answer.
Yes.
Oh.
We're trying to definitely get kids back into the classroom. So I will get that information to you, Jordan.
Hey, thank you.
Do you have a health question for Lexi? Jordan?
Yes. Hold on. I'm pulling it up. I apologize for not being prepared. I think it was already asked. No worries.
Okay. Alexander, do you have anything to close with, or are you good?
No, I think I just want to, I guess, restate the mask thing again, because that's what we're getting a lot of questions over right now, about masks not being required outdoors during physical activity. So masks will not be required outdoors while students are actively engaging in physical activity, and physical distancing of 6 feet or more can be maintained. So if physical distancing cannot be maintained, or they are not actively engaging in physical activity, or it is indoors, students will be required to wear a mask. We also are going to be asking families to fill out a consent form for their student that permits them to do so. And so I just want to really reiterate that.
Yes, we have a few minutes, Lexi. Alex from KXAN has a follow-up question for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you so much for giving me one last chance. I want to piggyback off what Jordan said, which was that.
Oh, Alex, you're very low again. I can't hear you.
You're like in a tunnel.
Yes,
Can you hear me right now?
yes, much
Okay.
better.
Sorry, I'm in my newsroom. I want to piggyback off what Jordan said, which was that Austin ISD is, making this recent push to get more students back in person for these final weeks of the semester. Many parents I spoke to say they feel like this sort of feels like a betrayal in many ways, because you were asking them to come in and now have a very sudden policy shift, which they feel puts their children in danger. And so, do you have any sympathy or perhaps words for those parents who may feel this way now that this very sudden decision and announcement has been made?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I would say is that the district is continuing to review and follow health authority guidance and recommendations. I know that there are a lot of questions that have come from the different protocol changes that have come out. We really encourage them to reach out to their campuses so that we can seek clarification. Our number one priority is the health and safety of our students, and we are welcoming students back, and we are implementing these protocols. And so if there are any concerns or there are any comments, please reach out to your campus so that we can provide clarification and we can have that dialogue with families.